Sirloin now stood directly before Jiren the Grey. Despite the warnings from his teammates, the self-proclaimed overlord of the universe remained completely confident that he could defeat the Pride Trooper on his own. That confidence would soon prove to be gravely misplaced, and his entire team would end up paying the price. Wasting no time, Sirloin began powering up. His body became engulfed in pure cosmic energy as the surrounding space shimmered under the pressure of his growing power. Nearby, Nigrishi and the other Universe-free fighters chose not to retreat. For now, they simply observe. Gathering information about their opponents had become more valuable than joining the battle immediately. Although Jiren appeared to be doing nothing more than watching his opponent, his infinitely sharpened senses were already analyzing the very essence of Sirloin's spirit. Through the perception granted by his enlightened mind, Jiren could see far beyond ordinary vision. His eyes pierced through the nature of Sirloin's power itself. He is merging his divine ki with the Genki energy flowing throughout the cosmos, Jiren concluded. Depending on the extent of his mastery, he might be capable of recreating nearly any cosmic phenomenon. Jiren calmly lowered into his fighting stance. Divine ki enveloped his body. There are still several hidden presences nearby besides the warriors of Universe 3. His thoughts remain perfectly focused. If I continue fighting at this level, defeating all of them will take too long. He briefly thought of his teammates. The longer I remain here, the greater the chances that the rest of my team is overwhelmed. For perhaps the first time in a very long while, hesitation crossed Jiren's mind. I came prepared to do whatever was necessary to protect my universe. But is this truly the right thing to do? It was only an instant, just long enough for emotion to surface. Then it disappeared. Jiren discarded every unnecessary thought. His focus returned entirely to the battlefield. The next moment, his divine power exploded. Jiren's aura erupted with such force that the surrounding arena trembled beneath it. The sudden surge of power was felt by every nearby fighter. Universe 2, Universe 3, even the gods watching from the stands immediately turned their attention toward the battlefield. An uneasy silence spread among them. The rumors surrounding Universe 11's strongest warrior suddenly seemed far more believable. A mortal rivaling a god of destruction. It was no longer difficult to imagine. Several gods of destruction looked on with growing concern for their own universes. Only one of them smiled. Belmont, the god of destruction of Universe 11, watched proudly as Jiren's power continued to rise. So, a grin spread across his face. "You're finally getting serious. Show them, Jiren. Show every universe the results of your training and sacrifice. Show them the absolute power of the Pride Troopers." Even after sensing Jiren's overwhelming increasing power, Sirloin refused to back down. "So, you're even stronger than I expected," he should. "But that won't stop me." The Emperor attacked first. An immense wave of cosmic energy erupted from his hand, carrying destructive force comparable to countless supernovas detonating simultaneously. Jiren didn't even attempt to dodge. A barrier of divine ki was enough to stop the entire attack. Without hesitation, Sirloin changed tactics. His control over gravity distorted the very fabric of space surrounding Jiren. The space around him bended as an extremely powerful black hole formed directly around the Pride Trooper. Still, Jiren remained unmoved. His barrier endured the crushing gravity without wavering. Sirloin poured even more power into the technique. The black hole intensified. Gravity continued increasing. At the same time, Sirloin absorbed greater quantities of cosmic energy to sustain the attack. It accomplished nothing. Jiren finally made his move. With overwhelming force alone, he shattered the artificial singularity. The black hole collapsed instantly. Before the residual energy had even dispersed, Jiren was already in front of Sirloin. His fist struck forward. A cosmic barrier instinctively formed around Sirloin's body. It shattered on impact. The force of Jiren's blow sent the Emperor hurtling backward, leaving him wounded. Even so, Sirloin recovered in mid-air. Immediately, he caught both arms in condensed cosmic energy. The technique was capable of splitting atoms and damaging an opponent on the molecular level with every successful strike. He charged directly toward Jiren. The two met head-on. Their clash erupted into a rapid exchange of blows. Sirloin proved himself to be an exceptionally skilled fighter, and his offensive techniques would be lethal to most. But Jiren's martial arts were on another level entirely. Every movement was cleaner, every counter more precise. Even when Sirloin managed to land a hit, Jiren's divine key barrier absorbed the attack before its molecular effects could take hold. Little by little the exchange became one-sided. Jiren's strikes landed with increasing consistency. Sirloin's defense steadily collapsed beneath the pressure. Finally, Jiren unleashed a decisive combination. A relentless barrage of blows overwhelmed the Emperor before ending with a point-blank ki blast. The explosion launched Sirloin across the arena at tremendous speed, directly toward the edge of the battlefield. For a brief instant, elimination seemed inevitable. At the last possible moment, Sirloin bent space itself. Two interconnected portals opened before him. His body disappeared into the first portal along his trajectory, before instantly emerging from the second, suspended high above on another section of the arena. The maneuver saved him from falling out of bounds. Unable to stop himself, Sirloin slammed into the arena floor. A violent explosion followed as Jiren's ki blast finally detonated. When the smoke cleared, the Emperor slowly rose back to his feet. Bruised, damaged, but still standing. That won't be enough to defeat me, Jiren. His pride remained completely unshaken. Cosmic energy flooded into his body once again, this time at a far greater rate than before. Within moments, Sirloin reached the limits of his power. Then, using his mastery over matter itself, he reconstructed the damage Jiren had inflicted upon him. His wounds vanished. Restored to full condition, the Emperor prepared to continue the battle. Jiren was already prepared to finish it. Before either warrior could move, two concealed presences finally revealed themselves. Realizing that Universe Free had chosen to remain on the sidelines while Sirloin stood on the verge of defeat, Ravandra and Sarbuto had no choice but to intervene. The two warriors appeared beside their Emperor, ready to join the fight. "Are you satisfied now?" Ravandra asked in frustration. "I'm done waiting. We'll have to fight him together. I don't need the help of a coward like you," Sirloin replied without even looking at him. "For once I agree with Ravandra," Sarbuto interrupted. "This is no time for pointless arguments. The fate of our universe is at stake." Sirloin folded his arms. "I suppose you're right, old geezer." A confident grin spread across his face. "I will allow the two of you to join me." He pointed directly at Jiren. "Support me. I'm the only one capable of facing him head-on." Without another word, both Ravandra and Sarbuto began powering up. Sarbuto's genetically engineered body transformed into its super powerful state, allowing him to draw energy directly from stars and convert it into overwhelming solar power. Beside him, Ravandra entered his own enhanced form. But rather than charging alongside his allies, the descendant of demons vanished into the shadows, concealing both his body and his presence. Meanwhile, Sirloin and Sarbuto attacked from the front. The two warriors immediately engaged Jiren in close combat. Sirloin coated his body in condensed cosmic energy, while Sarbuto surrounded his limbs with blazing solar plasma. Every strike carried enough heat to incinerate most opponents before making direct contact. Against Jiren, it made no difference. A barrier of pure divine ki shielded the Pride Trooper from every attack. Maintaining such a defense would normally consume enormous amounts of energy, but Jiren's mastery over divine ki allowed him to sustain it while expending almost none. If his body could not be harmed, perhaps his mind could. Hidden from sight, Ravandra finally made his move. Rather than attacking physically, he unleashed the full extent of his psychic abilities. His target was Jiren's mind itself. A power inherited from his demonic ancestry, Ravandra's psychic techniques allow him to manipulate negative emotions, empowering himself while simultaneously shattering the minds of his enemies from within. Hatred, fear, despair, those emotions became weapons under his control. Countless warriors had fallen after their fighting spirit was broken by his psychic assaults. Ravandra expected Jiren to be no different. He assumed the Pride Trooper was simply a prodigy, blessed with overwhelming physical talent. Instead, he discovered the true source of Jiren's strength, his spirit. Ravandra silently crossed the outer layers of Jiren's consciousness. Normally, this part of the mind would be filled with surface thoughts, emotions, fleeting memories, and distractions. Instead, there was nothing. Only silence, only emptiness. Ravandra had invaded the minds of countless warriors before. Many possessed incredibly discipline, others possessed extraordinary mental fortitude. None resembled this. There is nothing here. His confidence began to falter. I'll have to go deeper. Gathering his psychic power, Ravandra forced his consciousness beyond the empty outer mind and descended toward what he referred to as the mental core. Even he did not fully understand its true nature. It was not merely the deepest part of one's thoughts. It was the manifestation of a being's very essence, their soul given form. From the outside, every soul appeared as an ethereal sphere. Its size, its brilliance, its movement, each reflected the owner's willpower and spiritual strength. Ravandra had witnessed extraordinary souls before. Even Ribrianne's had impressed him. But the instant he reached Jiren's, everything changed. Impossible. His thoughts froze. Beyond the endless void floated something resembling a star. An immense, blinding sphere of light radiated such overwhelming spiritual power that Ravandra instinctively recoiled. It inspired admiration and terror. Power flowed calmly throughout the immense soul, steady and perfectly controlled. Yet, beneath the calm, he sensed something else, a restrained rage, like a star moments away from collapsing into a supernova. It was that silent anger that was the most frightening. Ravandra immediately understood. If he attempted to invade Jiren's soul directly, his own mind would be destroyed simply by approaching it. How dare you? The voice echoed throughout the entire mindscape. Ravandra froze. The radiant soul before him began changing shape. The sphere condensed into a humanoid figure, Jiren. But unlike the calm warrior standing outside, this manifestation glared at him with unmistakable fury. Ravandra instinctively tried to flee. He could not move. An invisible psychic force completely immobilized him. The spiritual projection of Jiren slowly approached, then wrapped one hand around Ravandra's throat. Although nothing physical existed within the mindscape, the pain was real. Ravandra felt his own consciousness beginning to fracture. His very mind was being crushed by Jiren's psychic strength. The rage emanating from Jiren grew stronger with every passing moment. Whether it was Jiren's true self or simply his subconscious reacting to an intruder, Ravandra could not tell, and he would not have the chance to find out.